Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. We're about to treat another interesting topic. In this very interesting topic, we're about to discuss or equally answer a question that has been dropped. Someone is asking, is sugar directly affecting infertility or affecting fertility? Is it directly causing infertility or affecting fertility processes? All right. Okay, I will go this way to answer. Sugar itself isn't a direct cause of infertility or direct cause of infection. Okay, infertility can actually have an indirect impact on your reproductive system. How? Let's break it down. Sugar and your immune system. It causes something we call inflammation. It can cause what we call immune suppression. It can cause yeast overgrowth. Sugar can also equally cause a lot of issue that can affect our hormones and bring forth hormonal imbalance. So let's break it a little bit so that we'll try to understand it and appreciate it and work towards it. Okay, how can sugar actually affect your immune system? It causes inflammation. Inflammation in what form? A high sugar intake can lead to chronic inflammation throughout the body, including the reproductive system. Okay, so the right thing to do is to actually avoid more of sugar things. Actually work on yourself. Actually reduce your sugar intake because it has so much effect on your immune system. It causes a lot of inflammation all around your system, all around your body, and including the reproductive system, reproductive health that we are about to maintain or we are interested in getting right for the conception we are into or conception we are working towards to achieve. Okay, the immune suppression. How? Chronic inflammation can actually weaken your immune system, making you more susceptible to infection. When your immune systems are down as a result of sugar intake, it's indirectly affecting your system, and then all those things you're trying to avoid, including the susceptibility to infection, is not achieved, including those that has to do with infertility, especially the UTIs and STIs. Okay, the urinary tract infection and sexually transmitted infection. Those things can actually be as a result of over intake of your sugar. You know, those minerals will take off on, down here in Africa, you drink your tea, or down there in abroad, okay, you drink your teas, you add sugar to it while you're thinking of conception, where you're thinking of taking in, or you're saying that you're taking treatment and it's not working. Please understand that those additional sugars you add to your tea, those sugars already, the Milos in the production system, in that production companies, they've already added so much sugar to it, both the milk and the Milos, the Ovaltines, all those chocolates we take, they have sugar that has already been measured in such a way that it will not harm the system. You adding up another sugar to it is causing so much problems to your system, especially that of our reproductive system that has already been impacted through the bad effect the immune system has gotten, the immune suppression. The suppression of that immune system as a result of sugar, it has indirectly affected your fertility state because it has allowed the UTIs, the urinary tract infection, just like staphylococcus, just like E. coli, the candidiasis, and the rest of it, to increase so much in the system. Even when there's this gonorrhea or syphilis invading due to sexually transmitted infection, it will enhance the growth, thereby resulting to infertility. Any sperms that goes in there can actually be destroyed as well with the sperm mucus that has already been mixed with infection, the bacteria down there. Okay, the overgrowth of the yeast overgrowth equally can also affect us. It can actually affect infertility. How? Yeast on its own is already an infection, is already a condition on its own that is affecting indirectly the fertility state. So yeast overgrowth, when a high consumption of sugar is created, that it can create an environment that is not favorable for yeast. That is not favorable for the sperms to stay healthy in the vagina or during the processes to allow it to move very well. Consumption can create high consumption of sugar, as I'm saying, can actually create an environment that is favorable for yeast overgrowth, which can lead to reoccurring of yeast infection after treatment. Some people will say, I have been treated of candidiasis several times, but each time I try taking in, there won't be answer, there won't be conception, I end up seeing my menstruation again. All right, note it today that increased level of sugar in your system, because you have already tested yourself. You've and you've tested and the sugar level at that particular time is a bit poor. or it's in a normal state, you think the sugar level in your system is not high. It could be high, and yet it could be high at a particular time, but when you tested it, the sugar must have been stored already in the cells. And when you're taking it, you think that it's normal. Okay, glycated hemoglobin are there as a test you can actually use to identify if you have loaded sugars into your system, or if you're predisposed to having diabetes later on. Okay, so those tests are there to help you. So this infection, that recurring yeast infection, potentially has already been identified in the system, can impact intercourse and fertility. Overgrowth of yeast cells can result to painful sexual state. When you're having intercourse with your spouse at a particular time, the tissues will be so inflamed that you'll be feeling pain, certain sensation that is irritating, that can actually affect you and throw you off balance. When you see your partner, you can kind of being so much resistant to him, or it becomes irritating to you. Right? You have to understand that your vaginal state needed to be addressed. The overgrowth of yeast cells could actually be causing those pains you're having. Again, sugar, know that we're talking about the inflammation state. Okay, sugar and hormonal imbalance. Okay, when we talk about sugar and hormonal imbalance, what are we trying to address? We're trying to address the insulin state. The insulin, the hormone that is in charge of taking care of hormone, both the production and the balancing. Okay, so where there is insulin resistance, consuming too much sugar can lead to insulin resistance, which can disrupt hormonal imbalance or disturb hormonal balance. Okay, including hormonal levels essential for ovulation and sperm production. Now, androgen excess androgen again can actually be as a result of too much sugar intake, and it's associated with the risk of polycystic ovarian cyst. Okay, so PCOS is there. It could be as a result of this insulin resistance. So you have to work on your sugar. When it's so much that the insulin is being resistant to the cells and the rest of it, is indirectly affecting our fertility state. So in all, we have to know that sugar affects our hormonal balance. It brings forth hormonal imbalance into our system. Mind you, we're trying to attack those things that causes infertility to our system. And we've been able to identify the sugar, being the question that is being asked, is sugar indirectly affecting fertility? We've break down that sugar and immune system is effect on inflammation, the immune suppression, the use of overgrowth, then the hormonal imbalance on its own, which affects the insulin resistance, the androgen excess, which is actually causing polycystic ovarian syndrome. So we have to work on all this in order to get ourselves fine. The sugar and sperm health. Okay, the high sugar level can equally affect the link to reduce sperm motility, the movement which is essential for fertilization. Okay, let's explain a little bit on the sugar effect on sperm cells. Sugar and sperm health. Okay, doesn't have anything to do with the motility, the speed, the movement of the sperm cells. Okay, yes, it does. Sperm cell, when you have high intake of sugar, it has a lot to do with the movement of your sperm cells, the motility down there. Okay, it has to link to reduce sperm motility, which is a movement, and it's essential for fertilization. I said it before. Okay, so now the sperm DNA is another way that sugar affects and damages. Okay, excessive sugar consumption can increase oxidative stress, which can indirectly damage the sperm DNA, potentially affecting fertility as well when the DNA is affected. Okay, understanding what sugar and hormone has in common, in order to affect our fertility, we have to understand insulin resistance. We've actually talked about it. We're saying that consuming too much sugar can actually lead to insulin resistance, which can disrupt the hormone state, the hormone balance, which also includes the hormone level and essential, which is so much essential for ovulation and sperm production. So it's affecting both the female, the woman is affecting both the man. So we should work so much on our sugar level. We should work so much on trying to address certain issues on our own without talking about my health officer needs to do this for me, this have to do this for me. No, these are the things you can actually help to enhance your fertility and enhance your treatment measure. Okay, we'll talk about the androgen excessiveness, which is so much associated to the sugar level, and in back result to we having PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. So excessive of this sugar, or excessive consumption of it. I explained a little thing concerning the tea. When you take your pap, you put sugar. When you take your tea, you add sugar to it. Those are so much. So let's be careful. And as you do it in the morning, you do it in the night. In 1 week, you're still doing the same thing. In several years, you're still doing the same thing. And when you go out, you feel cold, you feel heat, that you needed to take some cold thing. You're also adding minerals to it. And at that point, you're trying to quench your thirst and then causing more harm to the system. Mind you, you have to do these things yourself. Okay, as we've explained that as it's affecting the woman, it's affecting the man. Know it as a man that the sperms need to be in a better state. And concerning this sugar issue, the increase, the consumption, that has a lot to do with your hormone balance, to bring forth imbalance to it, both women and men. So as you're addressing and helping your spouse, help yourself as well. Both of you to put hands together to reduce how you consume the stones of sugar, how you consume cubes of sugar. Please, let's help ourselves in order to keep the DNA of the sperm very intact, to avoid damage to it as a result of excessive consumption of the sugar. And then the health of the sperm, please let it be your number one priority, because it's still the predisposing factor. Okay, key things to take away are sugar is not a direct cause of infertility. So sugar itself doesn't directly cause infertility, but it can create an environment that increases the risk of problems that can affect fertility. Okay, the moderations there, what is it? I say it's a key thing to take home. I say that the moderation is key. Limiting additional sugars to whatever it is you're taking, your daily life, your lifestyle, reducing it is another thing that needed to be watched, another thing that you need to moderate, another thing that you need to take as a key thing home. So whatever it is in this very topic we treated now, the question we answer, realize that moderation of sugar intake is the key to the success of infertility and not a direct cause of infertility, as we say. Thank you very much. As we carry on with other topics, subscribe to our channels, ask your questions. The WhatsApp chat, the WhatsApp numbers are there. Ask your questions, call on phone. So we'll start your treatment, we'll start your counseling and balance your body. In so doing, we'll thank us later and we'll dance the same dance with you and smile alongside. Thank you.